My jealous sister-in-law and her family accused me of stealing her diamond ring, but when the truth came out, she wasn't ready for that shock. I, 29F, have been married to my husband Shane, 31M, for 5 years. We have a good relationship and a comfortable life. Shane has a sister, Tori, 33F, who's been married to her husband Mike, 35M, for 8 years. Tori and I never really got along. From the day Shane introduced me to his family, Tori seemed to have a problem with me. At first, I thought it was just because she was protective of her brother. But as time went on, I realized there was more to it. I grew up in a middle-class family. My parents worked hard to provide for me and my siblings. We never had luxuries, but we had everything we needed. I went to college on scholarships and worked part-time jobs to pay for my expenses. After graduation, I got a job at a tech company and worked my way up. Tori, on the other hand, came from a wealthy family. She never had to worry about money and got everything she wanted. She went to an expensive private college and then married Mike, who also came from a rich family. Tori didn't work and spent her time shopping, going to spas, and attending social events. When Shane and I started dating, Tori made it clear that she didn't think I was good enough for her brother. She would make snide comments about my clothes, my job, and my background. She often tried to set Shane up with her rich friends, even though he was dating me. Despite Tori's attitude, Shane and I got married. Our wedding was simple but beautiful. We paid for it ourselves and had a small ceremony with close friends and family. Tori complained about everything at the wedding, from the food to the decorations. She even wore a white dress, which I chose to ignore to avoid drama. After we got married, Shane's career took off. He got promoted several times and started earning a good salary. We were able to buy a nice house and go on vacations. This seemed to make Tori even more jealous. She would constantly compare our lives to hers, always trying to one-up us. Last month, Shane's parents invited the whole family for a weekend at their lake house. I didn't want to go because of Tori, but Shane convinced me it would be good for family bonding. The first day went okay. We all arrived on Friday evening and had dinner together. Tori barely spoke to me, which was fine by me. On Saturday morning, we went for a swim in the lake. After lunch, Tori suggested we all play board games. While we were playing, Tori kept showing off her new diamond ring. She made a big deal about how expensive it was and how her dad had surprised her with it for their anniversary. I complimented the ring to be polite, but Tori just rolled her eyes at me. Later that afternoon, I decided to take a nap. I was tired from the drive and the swimming. I went to the guest room Shane and I were staying in and fell asleep. I woke up about an hour later to shouting. I went downstairs to find Tori screaming and crying. She was yelling that her diamond ring was missing. Everyone was trying to calm her down and help her look for it. Tori was turning the living room upside down, throwing cushions and looking under furniture. Suddenly, Tori pointed at me and shouted that I must have stolen her ring. She said I was jealous of her ring and wanted it for myself. I was shocked and denied it immediately. Shane defended me, saying I would never do such a thing. Tori insisted that I was the only one who had been alone in the house while everyone else was outside. She demanded that I empty my pockets and show her my bags. I was humiliated but did as she asked to prove my innocence. The ring wasn't there, but Tori wasn't satisfied. To my horror, Mike joined in and accused me of hiding the ring somewhere. He said I must have taken it out of jealousy and suggested searching our room. I couldn't believe what was happening. I looked to Shane's parents for support, but they seemed unsure. Shane's dad suggested we all search the house thoroughly. We spent hours looking everywhere, but the ring didn't turn up. As time passed, I could see doubt creeping into everyone's eyes. Even Shane's mom, who had always been kind to me, was giving me suspicious looks. By dinner time, the atmosphere was unbearable. Tori was still crying and Mike was comforting her while glaring at me. Shane's cousins were whispering among themselves, and I could feel their accusing stares. The breaking point came when Shane's dad pulled Shane aside. I overheard him telling Shane to man up and either make me give the ring back or pay for it. He said the ring was worth thousands of dollars, and Tori was devastated. Shane lost his temper. He shouted at his dad, saying he couldn't believe his own family would accuse me without any proof. He yelled that I was innocent and that Tori probably just misplaced the ring. This led to a heated argument with everyone taking sides. I felt sick to my stomach. I couldn't believe this was happening. I had never stolen anything in my life, And now I was being treated like a criminal by my husband's family. In the middle of the argument, Shane grabbed my hand and said we were leaving. He told his family he was disappointed in all of them for jumping to conclusions and treating me this way. We packed our bags quickly and left, despite his parents' protests. On the drive home, Shane was fuming. He kept apologizing to me and saying he couldn't believe his family would do this. I was in shock and didn't know what to say. I felt guilty for causing this rift in Shane's family, even though I knew I hadn't done anything wrong. When we got home, Shane's phone was flooded with messages from his family. Tori was demanding we pay for the ring. Mike had sent a long text accusing me of ruining their lives over my jealousy. Shane's parents were asking him to be reasonable and come back to sort things out. Shane blocked all their numbers that night. He said he didn't want to talk to any of them until they apologized to me, but I could see how much this was hurting him. He loved his family, and this rift was tearing him apart. A week has passed, and the situation hasn't improved. Tori has been posting on social media about how I stole her precious anniversary gift. Some of Shane's extended family members have reached out, urging us to do the right thing and pay for the ring to keep the peace. I'm at a loss. I know I didn't take the ring, but I have no way to prove it. Shane believes me, but I can see the toll this is taking on him. He's lost weight and isn't sleeping well. He's even considering changing jobs so we can move to a different city and get away from all this drama. Part of me wonders if we should just pay for the ring to make this all go away. But it's a lot of money and, more importantly, it would be admitting to something I didn't do. I'm afraid if we give in now, Tori will hold this over my head forever. I never wanted to come between Shane and his family. Despite our differences, I always hoped Tori and I could eventually get along. Now it seems like that will never happen. I don't know what to do. Should I insist on my innocence even if it means Shane loses his family? Should we pay for the ring to keep the peace? How can I prove I didn't take something when there's no evidence either way? This whole situation has been a nightmare. I've lost sleep, I can't focus at work, and I'm constantly anxious. Shane says he'll support me no matter what, but I can see how much this is hurting him too. So, Reddit, should I admit to stealing a ring I didn't take or pay for it? What would you do in my situation? How can I fix this mess without compromising my integrity? Update**. It's been 3 months since my last post, and a lot has happened. I never expected things to turn out the way they did, but I'm relieved that the truth finally came out. 2 weeks after the incident at the lake house, I received a call from Shane's cousin, Leah. She said she had some information about Tori's missing ring and wanted to meet me in person. I was hesitant at first, but Leah insisted it was important. We met at a small cafe the next day. Leah looked nervous and kept glancing around as if she was afraid someone might overhear us. She told me that she had heard something shocking from Angela, who was Ethan's girlfriend. Ethan was Mike's best friend. According to Leah, Angela had confided in her that Mike was the one who had taken Tori's ring. Apparently, Mike and Ethan had gotten involved with a loan shark for a business venture. They borrowed a large sum of money, but instead of investing it, they spent it all on gambling and partying in Las Vegas. When it was time to repay the loan, they were broke. In desperation, Mike stole Tori's ring and sold it to partially repay the debt. He then used the family gathering as an opportunity to stage the ring's disappearance and blame me. I was stunned. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Part of me was relieved that I wasn't crazy, that I really hadn't taken the ring. But another part of me was angry and hurt that Mike would do this to his own wife and then let me take the fall. I thanked Leah for telling me and asked if she had any proof. She said Angela had agreed to come forward and testify if necessary. When I got home, I told Shane everything. He was furious and wanted to confront Mike immediately, but I convinced him to wait until we had more solid evidence. We met with Angela the next day, and she confirmed Leah's story. She had text messages and recordings of conversations with Mike and Ethan discussing the loan and the ring. Armed with this evidence, Shane and I decided to confront Mike and Tori in front of Shane's parents. The next weekend, we went to Shane's parents' house and asked them to call Mike and Tori over. When they arrived, Shane and I calmly explained what we had found out. At first, Tori didn't believe us and accused me of fabricating the whole story. But when we played the recordings and showed the messages, her face turned pale. Mike tried to deny it, but the evidence was undeniable. Tori broke down in tears and Mike finally admitted to everything. Shane's parents were horrified and apologized profusely to me. They couldn't believe their son-in-law had done such a thing and were ashamed of how they had treated me. Tori was devastated and refused to speak to Mike. She packed her bags and left him that same day. Shane and I decided to give his family some space to process everything. We went on a short trip to clear our heads and try to move past the trauma of the last few months. It's been a difficult journey, but things are finally starting to get better. Shane's parents have been trying to make amends, and Tori is slowly starting to rebuild her life. She apologized to me sincerely and admitted that her jealousy had blinded her. She's now seeing a therapist and working on her issues. Mike, on the other hand, is facing legal consequences for his actions and has lost the trust and respect of everyone in the family. Shane and I are closer than ever. This ordeal has shown us how strong our relationship is and how much we mean to each other. I'm grateful for his unwavering support and for the truth finally coming to light. We're taking things one day at a time and focusing on building a happy future together.